say, I am a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary.
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
Where there's people, there is power. Justice in our time. Good evening, everyone. It's Sean Buchanan at Equal Start. Today I'm interviewing another esteemed guest, Mr. Pauly Skerrett, a community leader, educator, and dance instructor. Can you tell us more about yourself, Mr. Skerrett?
Yeah, where do we start? Where do we start? With the community, when I started dance, that was like in the 90s when we had New Jack Swing, was with a group called New Image. Time went on, we get older. I needed a backup plan. Backup plan was to, do studying. And then from studying, it was like, yes, I really wanted to dance again, but I knew that I had to do something different, and that was teaching. So I went into, teaching children, teenagers, adults how to dance. So I had my school called Exposure. So Exposure, 3 times street dance champions, 2 times b-boy champions. And as time goes on, people recognize that I was good at doing my teaching, because I was actually saying to the young children, we need to make sure that your education is on point. You can't just jump on the stage without, having good grades. So they were saying to me, the way that I teach them regarding their own subjects that they have to do for school was much better than how they get it at school. So I said, let me just go and find out what happens in school. So then I ended up becoming a learning support, a one-on-one teacher's assistant, and so on, head of a Prue school. And then I opened up IFAL, International Institute for Adults Learning, so that we can start feeding the information that we need to feed to our children so that they can learn what they need to learn, not what the state is trying to give them, which is a lot of nonsense, because a lot of the stuff they're just not going to use. If you was doing computer science and then they told you to learn binary, what for? If I want you to fix my mouse, I don't care if you know about zeros and ones, fix the mouse, So these are the kind of things that I'm trying to pass on to adults to, educate their children in a better way. Spend some more time with them. Spend some more time to educate your children. I do projects with, I had done projects with, Lambeth Police. So it was the Lambeth Summer Camp, working with Metropolitan Police during the summer holidays. Varies of things that take place, just loads of different things.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. That's what I was talking about earlier on today with some of the other panel members, that we need to have more. That's why we are called this program, the Unheralded Heroes, because we do have leaders in our community. We do have people doing progressive things that have not been, involved in criminality, that haven't been on the streets, that actively engage. They're on the front line, really helping the people, instead of just having a photo ops on legacy media news about, oh, I come from such a broken background, or I've been in trouble before and this was my way out, and things like that. And then we've got the former UK grime artists, hip hop artists that were maybe popular 15, 20 years ago, acting as community leaders, and then they're criticizing the violent crimes and the crimes of the youth, and then they're promoting it in the music, or they're doing podcasts where they're talking about that life as if it's still relevant and it's still a good thing to prove their macho-ness. So that's the whole reason why I developed this kind of part of Equal Start.
There's always stuff that takes place with police. It's I'm a black male. I'm in my 50s. I was a teenager. and I used to live in Enfield Lock, and I used to be stopped every day, just because I was the only, my family was the only black family in Enfield Lock.
Mhm.
So the police would always pull us up. But then what they're doing is that they're trying to pull you up to fit you into a box. So, if you continue telling me that I'm a thief, then eventually that I'm going to do something wrong because I'm told that I'm a thief. And in my brain, I'm going, you stopped me for no reason. So why don't I just go and do something anyway? Because you're pulling me up. But as I got older, like I was like 16. No,
Mhm.
sorry, I was 15 at the time. My brain would told me I was in the West End. I said, I don't need to steal. I was in W.H. Smith's, and I felt like I was one of the best thieves in the world. I could run, you know,
Mhm.
I was doing in martial arts. I knew how to quickly put things away. But
Mhm.
something said, like I heard something saying, "Don't do it. Your brother's watching you." And
Oh,
something else was saying, "No, no, go and take it." And I was like, I listened to the first one saying, "Don't take it. Your brother's watching." My brother wasn't even nearby. I went home, and the thing that I was going to steal was on the table. My
okay.
mom, my mom had bought it for me. My mom didn't usually buy me stuff, but there was a Ribena on the table and a marathon, which we call Snickers nowadays.
Yeah, cool. See, I remember that. Obviously,
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
Marathon.
And from that time, when I saw that on the table, I said, I don't, my brain was just telling me, I don't need to do it. I don't need to steal, you know? I've got a brother who's watching me. He's like a couple of years younger than me. If he sees me stealing and he's looking up to me, he's gonna try and follow that path.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I didn't want him to follow a bad path. I don't want to see my brother in jail. I don't want to see him doing things that he shouldn't be doing, you know?
Mhm.
And so it was, you've got to set you're becoming a role model. My dad was gone when I was 8 years old, right? No, when I was 6 years old. My mum stopped looking after us when I was eight. So I started working when I was eight. But at the same time, you're still thinking about, I want what all these other children are having. They had like the Spectrum ZX, the Commodore 64. You want
Had the
all
Commodore
these,
64.
the Atari, all those things there. You want those things. But I also knew that I had to work for these things. Wanting the BMX, I wanted the chopper. All these bikes that came out back then, I wanted those, but I had to work for those. So I did. I used to wash cars, and then that's how I got my work ethic. That's how it came about because there was people that didn't have money, and then you learn to do customer support at that time, at that age, where you can see that the car's dirty and you would say, "Hey, don't worry about it. I'm gonna wash your car. It can't go out like that, you know." And I
Mhm.
tell you what, I'm gonna do in and out. They're like, "But I don't have no money." Fine. Do you have water? Do you have soap? Yes. Okay, I'll wash it for you. You know what the people say? Come back in the middle of the week. I come back in the middle of the week. They're £3 for me. That's fine. Can you come back in 2 weeks' time? Yes, I can come back in 2 weeks' time. You know, that's the thing I had, and people around Enfield started to know who I was because that's the kind of person that they saw, and then they would come and support me playing football and things like that. So you start building up a network around you, people who want to watch you play football, people who want to see you succeed, because you're just doing something which is different. You're not doing what the TV was showing. The TV always showed us back then that black people were stealing handbags.
Mhm.
They were robbing people, and like now, the TV ain't changed too much. Yeah. So the other day, my wife's watching EastEnders. Yeah, I remember seeing something. There was a doctor. He's a black man being a doctor. Next minute, he's a killer.
Yeah, to
It's
be
like,
fair though, I'll say it's worse now because at least then in the East End, you had the Tavernier family that were kind of not black middle class, but they were well to do. Then you had the Desmonds, remember? The Desmonds.
yeah,
But yeah, say they went into all that. So even it's less now. We've got nothing like that now on
yeah,
normal
we had the
television.
Huxtables. We had the Cosby
Exactly. So
Show,
it's
the
worse.
Positives.
And
Yeah,
that's
but what
because
they
there's more in the 90s.
Yeah, but so what they've done now is that they just said instead of having black people having their own TV show, we'll stick one of them in, or we'll stick two of them in our show. That means they don't need to have their own show. So if you make them have their own show, then they will dictate how the show will take place. They will be positive. They will do good things. They will raise their children properly. They will give them all the morals, like in Desmond's, the way that he would raise his son and his daughter, the way that he would speak to them, and you see the attitude of, how they are in Guyana, and how they'll pull up and kiss teeth and all stuff like that. You get to see all these things. Okay, but if you just give us one little piece in a program, you can do whatever you want. You do whatever you want to us, and we start to believe that must be the case. That's how we're supposed to be, and it's not. That's not how it's supposed to be, and that's not how we are. You know, and that's the issue that we have today with television. And I see good people like, I don't know if you know him, but Freddie no Noeku.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know him.
Yeah, so as Freddie, as Noeku, as the artist, man, back in the days, he used to be like the rapper, the chatter, the one who used to performing. He's doing his best now to make programs for us as well. But it's difficult because you always have to, they say equal opportunity. You have to bring everybody in,
Mm.
otherwise they're not putting it on the television for you. They're not going to put it on the big screen.
Well, they had that. I did like that film that they had a few years ago. Attack the Block. Even though it was a comedy and it was in a housing estate, it was kind of dystopian and it wasn't it's your typical thing. And then, so I was pleased with that. But then obviously recently they've gone back to, well, not that recent, but within the last 5 years, that Blue Side Story. I remember my oldest son said, "Hi, that's great TV." Yeah, well, not great TV, great film. I said, "No, son, it's a bunch of nonsense. It's like
Yeah.
having a musical about a road gang." So I said, "That's no good." And then said, "Then you lot are saying this is great cinema." I said, "Is this what we're doing in the 21st century?" That said that would have even been out of place in the 70s. Because
Yeah.
even then, because then they said we would have the fight. What was that program where you had the white family and the black family? Remember, my dad used to watch it. I forget what it's called now.
Wait
Ooh,
a minute.
his thing there. Oh, is it Love Thy Neighbor? Love Thy Neighbor. Yeah, and they at least then, even though they used to squabble with the racist white family, it was done with kind of like class and decorum. They didn't show us as like being in the street with weapons, guns,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
drugs. So I said, even then, even though it was kind of like, oh, you subservient and almost like submissive, it wasn't showing like the underbelly of the community. But now that is glorified, and if you're doing anything else, you're unique or you're not in the community, you're not mandem. So this
Yeah,
is
or
what we have
your
to be going
bounty,
through.
or you just called it
Yeah,
a
yeah,
name
so
of some sort.
so it's terrible. So
Yeah, well,
um,
so the thing is, we do what we can. We do what we can, and even going back some years, I had to fight for my son. And this is not on movies. I had black men and fatherhood. So
yeah,
black men, you had family needs fathers, and you had fathers for justice. One of the issues I had with fathers for justice is that you've got people jumping on the Queen's building and hanging out. I'm like, come on,
mm,
man. You're not going to get black people doing a lot of these things
yeah,
that
no,
you
they won't. They think
uh,
it's stupid.
you want to get black man storming the bank, Royal Bank of Scotland, and just sitting there over. No, no, you're not going to get us doing that because you're going to shoot us. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. So I was like, I went to Family Needs Fathers and I sat in there. I was fighting for my son, and he's 21 now, and I was like, wow, the amount of the barber shops I used to go to, they all used to complain about not seeing their children, just meeting up and talking to people. They couldn't see their child. They're fighting over, the girl won't let them see the child and everything. But you go to Family Needs Fathers, and not one of them were there. There was not one black guy there. Oh, it was just me. And I was just thinking, there's something wrong here. And I went, I went back to my workplace and I was talking to my friend Mohammed and I said, there's something wrong. I went to Family's Fathers, the meeting, the amount of issues that are happening with these fathers. But there wasn't any black guy but me. I was the only black man there. And he says, wow, what are you going to do about it? I
he
said,
hasn't changed that much even now. Because
I
4 years
looked,
ago they asked me to be a trustee, and I said
so
no.
I
Mm,
looked at the bus and I saw the bus going past. And I said, you see, somebody had to create that bus. And he said, yeah. I said, yeah, someone had to create it and it had to come onto this road. So I'm going to create something. And it took me a couple of hours, and I said, right, I'm going to call it Black Men and Fatherhood. So I created Black Men and Fatherhood, and I went north, east, south, and west, every town hall talking about fatherhood, and I met some people who then decided to create their own, yeah, and to do certain things like as we know, Fathers to Fathers, Courtney Brown, he's gone
Yeah.
off and created his thing. But I was just a catalyst. What I was doing was just getting people to say, we're not alone.
Mm.
There's more of us who go through
Then
stuff.
you think, yeah. Mm.
Yeah. And the thing is, Black Men in Fatherhood wasn't for me to start creating this organization that's going to run forever. It was, just a starting block because at the same time, I was running a dance school called Exposure. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm running my dance school and then I've got this happening. But then I had to like put a pause on my dance school and I
Okay.
told all my students that they needed to go to my friend who had her dance school, Kelly.
Okay.
And she called me, she's like, Paulie, are you sure it's okay? I said, listen, if I can't see my child and I'm seeing everybody else's child more than I'm seeing my own child. I said, it's
Mm.
affecting me. Yeah. I said, please take care of these children. I've done so much work with them. They've been street dance champions. They've been on stage with like famous people and stuff, but I can't look after them no more. Yeah.
Mm.
She said, no problem. She looked after them. They've gone there now. They're going off to do big things. One of them dancing, dance with Janet Jackson. The other one is doing some big show awards with the Wiz and stuff. They all moved. They've all gone off and done. They're doing big things. And so it was good to just be able to pass them on to do what they needed to do because I couldn't hold on to them because of what I was going through. You know.
Okay.
And then at the point I went, right, okay, I've done enough of Black Men and Fatherhood. There's other people now who are coming forward, 100 Black men and everybody else. They're coming forward and they're making progress. So let me focus on stuff that I need to focus on now. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what happened. It's like, okay, where is my brain right now? My brain was on education. I had to study, do my petals, do my kettles, done education and learning. Then said, right, during the COVID, QTLS, get that out of the way. Open up IFAL, International Institute for Adults Learning. Start building courses, writing courses, using my IT skills to create websites, and get things up and running and troubleshooting, make sure that things are in place. So that's what happened. This is where I am. And then the creative side has come back in. So now I'm going back to making music because that's my creative side. Music and dancing is the creative side. And so, yes, I got that. That's now taking place and starting to grow with that section. Yeah.
So with the training, how long did that take you? The training in that space, the time to get all your petals and kettles? Because I only found out about the other day from my
Yeah. So,
you were
like,
champion training. Mm.
Petals is like a short course. It was like 3 months. Kettles, but then there's one in between. So there's petals and there's kettles, but in between there's planning and enabling.
Okay.
Yeah, planning and enabling teaches you how to plan your class, enable the class, basically how to create a course from scratch.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
which is really weird because you learn how to create this course from scratch, but then you go to a college and then they download everything from, they go to the Pearson website, download everything. Go to the AQA website, download everything. And it's like, so why did I learn to create course from scratch when you want me just to download it?
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
And only teach what's in that module,
I always thought
So
the trainers with personality, though, they always find a way to bring in their own personal experiences, personalize it so people find it more engaging instead of like a tick box. I said, oh, do you know what coercive control is? What law is related to domestic abuse? It's they always put their kind of personal spin on things, and that's what gets people to follow them or attend their courses rather than another course from maybe a mainstream college. That's what
yeah,
I've noticed now. Mm.
it can depend on the college. Like I worked at Working Men's College, and that was a good college because it allowed you to talk about your own experiences with the adults that you're there to allow what happened. But also at the same time, we was going through COVID, so they were more lenient. Like if you go to some places don't want you to like give your own experiences. They just want you to go with what's there.
Follow the
Like,
program. Mm.
yeah, like if I'm working at a school, so if I'm working at a school, they don't really want to tell they don't want you to tell the children, hey, you're learning binary, that's rubbish. Yeah, this is what it is, 1011.
Mm.
This
Mm.
is what it adds up to. But you know what? After exam, you're never going to use it. They don't want you to tell children that.
That's a bit
Yeah,
odd.
they never want you to tell them the truth. They want you just to follow, yeah, keep because what they say, I remember in the book, in one of the books that I learned, it said that children are sponges. So you need to feed them all the stuff that you need to feed them with. You
Hmm.
understand? So you,
Hmm.
whether it's right or wrong, whatever that book says, you feed it to them. Yeah. And another thing it said in the book was you do stuff to the children and then you explain it to the parents afterwards.
Hmm.
Okay. Do you see the problem with that?
Yeah, of course.
They don't want you to tell the parents
Yeah,
about it.
yeah, I know. They're trying to supersede the families, the
Yeah.
state, and educate because they're local parenti.
So you need to, so what they said is that you have to do it to the children first. So basically you're telling the children, you know what? Yeah, this injection is here. We want you to take this injection and it's good for you. It's going to save your life. You know, you don't have to get your parents' permission. Okay, great. All right, Charles says, oh, okay, yeah, I did it. Then goes home. What's that mark? Oh, we got an injection in school. Then the parents make a complaint to the school. Oh, why have you done that for? Blah, blah, blah. It's too late. You've already done
Failing
the
system.
injection. Yeah,
Mm.
it's too late. And that's what they tell you in this book. It tells you that this is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Because overstepping, but as you know, as time goes on, it seems to encroach more and more on freedoms. But what I don't like is that they turn around and then tell parents and families, "Oh, it's your fault that when children are unruly and run amok and they become delinquents." I said, "Yeah, because you're tying one hand behind parents' backs and then saying they can't get control of them because you're brainwashing them as well and telling them you're undermining our authority at the same time. So how can that work? There's a lot of hypocrisy in it. So."
Yeah. So
Yeah.
one of the things I do, so that the school is fully aware who's dad. Yeah. So with my children, so they go to Harris, and I say, all right, you're gonna tell me that my daughter brought her phone into school. They say yes. Okay. She used it in the wrong time. Yeah, in the classroom. Yes, she did. Okay. I'm confiscating her phone. Huh? Oh, we've already penalized it. I'm confiscating her phone. I'm going to
Mm.
confiscate it for 1 month. She's not allowed to have her phone in for 1 month. So in this month, you're not going to be able to tell her about her phone.
Mm.
And they're like, oh, okay. So they get to realize that I'm dad. She's afraid of my punishment, not theirs. Yeah. And this is what a lot of people go, oh, the school gave me a detention. Okay, so then the parent does nothing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
No, no, no. The school gave you a detention. All right, then. Now, where's your phone? Let me take it. Thank you very much. We're going to go for a jog. Okay, we're going to do some press ups. But mom, I had a detention. So what? We're going to do this because this is my punishment. Yeah. The children have to be realizing that mom and dad are the ones who discipline them, not school. Yes, the school has a school policy, but that's the school's policy. Leave that at school. But I have a policy at home. This is my policy. And once people start realizing, yeah, that they've got the control, children will behave better at school. Then
Mm.
teachers will don't have to feel like they've got some kind of authority. Like one teacher took away my son's basketball. I said to my son, all right, then, was you playing basketball in that time? Because you know that I'm going to come to your school. He goes, Dad, I was taking my ball, putting it in my bag. One of his friends ran up to him, grabbed his ball, took a shot with it. Yeah. And
Mm.
he shouted at him, like, what are you doing? Yeah. And the teacher came up, took his ball, confiscated it. He said, Teacher, sir, can I get my ball back, please? Teacher ignored him. I said, all right then. All right, cool. Let's go to the school. Teacher said, oh, Mrs. Skerrett, no, no, you didn't need to come. Yeah. I said, yeah, I did. I did need to come. My son told me what happened, and maybe you need to hear what happened. No, no, no. I saw what happened. I said, I'm like, Armin, explain it. Explain what happened. So he said, and he goes, yes, yeah, that's exactly what happened. He goes, Mr. Skerrett, you didn't need to come. I said, yes, I did. And he goes, well, here's the ball back. You see? But then I said, now you need to talk to your friends. Yeah, because your friends can get you into trouble.
Mm.
And the teacher said, yes, you have to set boundaries with your friends. Yeah, but why? You should have said that to him.
In the first place.
Yeah, you ignored him.
Mm.
Yeah, you waited till I got there. Yeah. And so they always have to see that I'm present and that I'm going to come across and fight for my son if he's in the wrong, or if he's wrong, I'm going to still fight for him, but I'm telling him that he's wrong. You know, I will pull him up in
Good.
front of the teacher and tell him he's wrong. And I say, right, 50 press-ups now in front of the teacher, and I will do the press-ups with him. And then they will ask me afterwards, why would you do it with him? Because I raised him. I'm the problem. If he's gonna misbehave, it's me. I'm the problem. So I have to do it with him.
You're taking responsibility. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mm.
this is what they're learning. All right. And they're not used to that. Yeah. I'm not used to that. You know why I'm not used to that? Because my dad didn't do it for me.
Mm.
I had to watch TV shows. Yeah. I watched Mr. Huxtable being a parent. I watched my wife and kids being a parent. You know, I watched Mr. Avery, who's
Mm.
from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air,
Triple
being that parent. Yeah, I'm watching these people, and I'm taking elements of those people to be a parent. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, because I
Mm.
don't know. I've not been able to experience what my dad was supposed to do. Yeah, but I'm realizing that the mistake you make is because I've made that mistake.
Mm.
I haven't spoken to you beforehand. I haven't done something beforehand. So it's like now when I'm working with my children now, they're going for their Taekwondo championship. They're two times champions, both of them. Yeah, one's 12, one's 15. I say to them, I tell you everything now because when you're on that floor, I can't say nothing to you. And the thing is I learned this through when I was teaching dance. When my crew goes out to perform, I am nowhere near the stage. I'm not at the side of the stage. I'm not at the front counting them or anything. I'm far away because I taught you everything in our rehearsals.
Mm.
Yeah. So I don't need to be there. The only time I go to the stage is to set you up to say, all right, remember, this is where you're standing. Can you see the lights? Can you see what you're doing? All right, good. All right, then I'm done. Yeah. The rest is on you. You need to have practiced at home. Yeah. You needed to call your friends to find out if you've missed something. You needed to do all that stuff. I've done everything that I can do. So when I'm working with my children now, I do everything that I can do now because when that time comes, that's it. And I'm not
Yeah,
going to tell,
preparation. Mm.
yeah, I'm not telling you off afterwards. I said to them, if you fail your grading, then we've got to work on what you didn't do right. Yeah. But it's not about telling you off because I should have known more beforehand. Yeah. If you don't win your fight, we can look at why you didn't win your fight and we work on those things. Yeah. But it's not about telling you off because that would be my fault because I never gave you the stuff beforehand.
Mm.
Yeah. So these are the things that this is what I take all that stuff in. Yeah. You know,
With the community though, going back to the what solutions would you have with the current civil problems that we have and the perception of us as a people still in the UK after all these decades? Where
wow.
every time you see the TV, they said, "Oh, look," and the black community disproportionately have more knife crime and things like that. They're constantly peddled by the right wing media, particularly the mediums like GB News, and obviously the Reform Party, and priority
Okay.
about immigrants and things like this.
So that tells me that I haven't done enough. That's what it tells me. Yeah. I'm 50. I haven't done enough because everybody else is younger. the knife crime stuff is happening with people that's younger than me. It
Mm,
means my generation didn't do enough.
mm,
So we should have done more. We can't blame, oh, the white people or the Asian people or everybody else. We should have done more. That was our duty to do more. We saw what our parents had to go through. So why didn't we do more? If the Asian community can come here, open shops, yes, some people want to bring out the jokes. Oh, they put it on the corner shop. They got all the moolies and all this stuff. They know what they're doing. They came here and said, we're opening shops. Yeah.
mm,
Oh, they sell out here. Yes, because we're not selling out here. Yeah.
mm.
Or we're not proud, or the girls are not proud of their hair. Why? Because the media is showing only beautiful people have straight hair. Why? Because our people, our age group, didn't create a media channel which showed our hair, yeah, in a positive light, with afros, with curls, with natural curls. It was our generation that should have done more. Yeah.
I agree. I agree with that definitely in
We
terms of the
should have
growth.
we should have done more. And now we want to be blaming everybody else, but we're the ones to blame. When someone said, "Oh, I realized I think I might have mentioned this once before, that I'm a doer." Yeah, so I do. Paulie, you know how to dance. I was taught to dance. I showed myself how to dance. I went off and learned new stuff by myself and came back and I done the dance. Then I became a dance teacher because I was good at doing teaching and teaching others. I was doing. But then there's another element which is called the business. The business was the problem. Yeah. So I didn't know the business. So you can know how to dance, you know how to teach dance, but you don't know about the business. So that means you didn't have a successful dance school. Yeah. You may have taught all these people who become successful when they're dancing, but you didn't have a successful dance school because I didn't know business and no one was there to train me to tell me about business. Maybe, but now I know it doesn't stop me from now training myself.
Yeah, of course.
So yes, I'm doing FL, but now I'm learning about the business of FL. So FL can now have something that the dance school didn't have, you
Mm.
know? And then I'm also changed exposure to a CIC company. So then I'm not just applying for a grant and doing something. I'm actually trying to build the company properly from the back to say, right, these this phase, second phase, first phase, like how is this supposed to work properly? Because when I kick it off again, it's not going to do what it did before.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, the sustainability,
Yeah.
and profit making.
I need it to have, yeah, it's going to have that 1,000 students, but every year it needs to have that 1,000 students. You know what? It needs to have 2,000 students after the second year. It needs to have 3,000. It needs to then have a building. It needs to have all these things. How is it supposed to be done? Yeah. And do it properly. But these are the things with our community. The community are learning the same thing. They're learning to do. There's so many people who are great dancers, and then they open up a dance school. And within 6 months to a year, the dance school's falling off. Yeah.
They're profitable. That's why they
You
can't
know,
manage it.
you got people who say, right, they're gonna have their trade, they're gonna become a barber. Yeah. We noticed that there's so many barber shops
Yeah, of
around.
course, in our community, yeah, definitely.
Oh, but then ask them who owns the lease.
Yeah, no, it's never us. We're renting. Yeah, we're renting. Mm.
So that's again, we don't own that. When I
Saying
just
that, we're fun enough there. Where we both live, Starsky's. Mr. Starsky's had the freehold since I was like 12, right at the back of two in Broadway.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
the back of the market. He's had that
Yes,
since I was
yes,
a
yes,
boy.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I've
So
seen it.
no,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
there, but it's the exception, not the rule. That's the
yeah.
thing.
And
Those
that's
kind
the
of people.
thing. We need there's people, Mich Loren that were in Hackney, Dalston. It was packed. The shop was packed. Yeah. But then the landlord wants to put the money up all the time. Rent, put it up, put it up, put it up, to the point that they can't survive no more.
Mm.
We are constantly in that type of that zone. There was an excellent guy who had a sweet shop in the back of Brixton next to Bon Marsh. He was
Yeah, I
there for
remember that.
years.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. I
Yeah.
remember I used to go up on Marsh when I was a little boy in the 80s. Mm.
And then he had to close down his sweet shop because why? The rent was going up. It was going up. And I started noticing it when I started seeing less and less sweets in his shop, so he had to sell up. These are the things that our community they suffer from because we enjoy something. We enjoy doing something, like we may enjoy cooking. Yeah. So we then say we can cook for other people. You see, there's two things there. I enjoy cooking, and then I enjoy cooking for other people. So let me go to and open a shop. I can get a loan. All right, but no one's taught you about the business. You enjoy cooking, you enjoy cooking for other people. You've taken a loan to get your shop running, but no one's taught you about the business. How does it stay? How many items you want to be bringing in and selling? How many staff can you have? You know, how would it be possible to open another chain, another store somewhere else? No one is teaching you the business, and you're just staying in this one area, and anything can happen. So, say that you have a fire. What? This is something that's no one said, oh, if this happened, but bigger businesses, they would say if a hurricane took place, this is what they would do. If a tornado took place, this is what happened. If a tsunami took place, if your computer all systems shut down, what would you do? Now we have to say these same things for us, even if it's if our own business, our community businesses. We don't. A lot of us don't put that plan, put it there, so that if anything happens, we can fall back on it to say, yes, this is our plan and this is how we keep going.
You think it's a lack of foresight, or they're only concerned with the money? Because I always wondered that. I said anyone that has a conscientious mind, surely you just want to prepare for the best case scenario, the worst case scenario, and then as you build yourself up, put down reserves or put an alternative plan in place in case those things happen. Now I know some people naturally like that, but I've seen a lot of people that say they're entrepreneurs and that they're focused on growth and money all the time, but never on downturns or amending or being adaptable when problems come.
Well, the thing is that with me, I had the dance school and my prices are low. My price is like £3 for the students to come in. And if parents can't afford it, I know which parents can't afford certain things, and they will tell me, can I pay at the end of the month? I say, yeah, no problem. Yeah, because I'm not trying to get their money. I'm a teacher. I do IT. I get my money through IT. Me and my wife have properties. So we can juggle it. But COVID came and I saw lots of more people struggling. For the tenants, I said, I'm not putting up your rent. Yeah. Please understand, whatever your rent is, until this thing is over, it's exactly the same. It will not change. If you have problems, please let me know in advance. Yeah, because I've got to find a way to cover it. And I'm not going to be working, or I'm going to be working part-time. I need to make sure that I can cover that mortgage. So another person with a business mind probably wouldn't even said all that stuff. They would have just said, right, I just need to make sure I've got my profit. Yeah, I need my profit margin. Yeah, they put up the interest rates. Yep, yep, because they skyrocketed up all the interest rates. But I knew that people couldn't afford it. I knew that people lost their jobs. If you've lost your job, yeah, and you're paying 1,100 for the rent, how am I supposed to turn around and say, actually, I don't care. My mortgage is now 1,300, so you need to pay
Yeah,
1,400.
you're conscientious. Remember, you're a man of sentiment and conscience, but that is becoming increasingly less prevalent in the world. So yeah, I hope they show their gratitude when you're covering them like that. Because I've
Yeah,
seen people broken and get into serious problems trying to do that.
yeah, this is the thing. So, like, even one of them, I said, listen, I just need you to cover the mortgage. I said, this is what the mortgage is, right? There's the paperwork that you can see what it is. Can you get to that? They said they can. I said, okay, good. That's it. They're split. They're sharing two rooms, and they making it. They're just about making that payment. That's right. You do what you
Oh,
got to
so
do.
you rent out the properties that you don't live in, you just rent them out.
Yeah, the ones that we don't live in, we rent out, and then people. But we can still see people struggling all the time.
Mm.
So the market for renting properties ain't even that great. We're looking at selling some properties and doing some other maneuvers. But that was one of the things that just keeps you going. Right? Having the properties, but at the moment, it's not really good. It's like it's better to get your property in Ghana and rent it out there because
Fun enough, I want to retire there, I'm looking at something
you'll make a profit.
in Pram Pram. I think
Yeah.
is it RC? There's a fella in lockdown.
Hmm.
I made an all right profit on my Ethereum at the time, and he told me like for 4,000 he could get a piece of lace in land in Pram Pram. I think he said it's the outskirts of Accra.
Okay.
Yeah, so I thought about that then, but I didn't do it because I said, what is it like out there? Is it like people that say there's property and then someone else owns it, you go out there and you give them the money, they run off and they said, no, this property belongs to someone else already. So I said, I'd have to come out there and observe it first. Especially that I said, I've never met you face to face. I'm not familiar with you. I'd have to
Hmm.
do my due diligence.
Yeah,
So it never happens.
that's
Mm.
right. That's right. Just jump on a plane and go. I've seen lots of people are doing these things because we have been lied to a lot. Yeah, the education system has lied to us a lot. And, I'm sure you must have seen like the map of Africa, how big it really is.
Yeah, of course. They said the continent on the European map that's not the proper size of Africa. It's actually the biggest continent on the planet in terms of square miles and things like that. Yeah. So I've only seen,
Yeah.
to be fair, it's only over the last year I've seen that. Before I just thought, yeah, the map was the map.
So I speak to when I'm in the schools, I like to challenge like the geography teacher. I like to challenge the RE teacher because I'm there as an IT teacher and I'm going, hey, you on this map, right? You show Africa like this small. Why? Oh, because we needed to get it onto the globe.
Mm.
Really? So why didn't you just make the Africa first big, like it's
And do
supposed to,
the, put
and
everyone
then
one
fit
else around
everybody
it.
else around the globe?
Yeah, of course, yeah. It's you.
I
So
said, I
they're not going to
said,
do that. This is England. Mm.
I said that's a terrible excuse. I didn't, and when I speak to the RE teachers, it's like I say, so why do you use the word Jesus? Like knowing, and I know that some of the children they're listening, and they say, oh yeah, we know that is not his real name. I say, okay, so what's his real name? Oh, it's Isis. I said, you mean it's Yeshua? So his name
Mm.
is so why if you know his name is Isis, after all these years that you have, why didn't you send it back? Why didn't you send it back? Why did you
Yeah,
just
they
have
won't do that. They won't do that. They won't
and
do that.
like, oh no, that's how they start to stutter. And I said, but that letter J came out 500 years ago.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. There's no letter J in Hebrew or Aramaic. So
yeah,
yeah, that's something I learned from like when I was about 20, 21. So, but this is the things they cover up and they hide from you because it's all part of the conditioning. So you don't question. But when you do find out now, you're seen as a rebel,
yeah.
trying to
And
upset things. Mm.
this is how bad that the lie goes on because you're then doing exam papers where you're teaching children lies and they have to fill out the exam paper
Mm.
with that lie. If they put the truth down, you will mark them as a fail.
Mm.
Yeah. So they write down his name is Yeshua, you'll put fail because you want Jesus to be written down.
Mm.
There's
Mm.
so many, all these little things like,
And
okay.
cultural bias, yeah, anything outside of math is going to be some form of cultural bias. Always, always, especially over here.
And then the other one was the man who walked on the moon. I'm like, okay, so you said that happened in 1968, right? And last time it happened was 1972. I said, from then we've had color TV, right?
Mm.
We have got 4K, it was it 3K, 4K,
Mm.
1080p, we've got like 3D
Mm.
TV. We got
We got games consoles now that are more powerful than the computer that apparently sent Neil Armstrong to the moon. Yeah,
yeah,
cool.
and it was they said that PC that sent him was 64 meg.
Yeah, see, so
Yeah, I said 64 meg. That won't even get you to the bottom of my road.
I
I said,
know.
what
That's
are you
not even
saying
as good
about?
cards as Nintendo 64. Jesus. Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
and that's about 30 years old now.
they
Mm.
were saying, oh, it was controlled programming. I said, that's just rubbish. I said, you're telling us some doo-doo, man. Like you're constantly feeding us with rubbish. Yeah. There was a Cold War taking place. Cold War. And it was between Russia, yeah, or the USSR and
Mm.
America. Who
Mm.
can do things first? So
Mm.
you came out of a lie first. Yeah, America came out of a lie first to say they went. No one's ever gone. Like now, even the other day, somebody in Australia, well, Australia tried to send a rocket about a month ago, within the
Mm.
last month, right?
Okay.
It didn't even get 10 foot off the floor.
Jesus.
It was like, and, and like, and that's not using 64 meg.
Yeah, no, more
That should
like
at
10
least
faster.
that should at least gone to the cloud. You know what I mean?
Were they part of a space agency or was it a private company trying to do that or just
Um,
individuals?
I don't know. I remember just seeing it saying like, and it's coming up on the news and stuff, and I was like, seriously, if that, you're telling us that this has happened, but yet we can't, we can't even get up.
Quantify it, yeah. Yeah.
You're supposed to be able to get up to at least the cloud because the planes go that high. Come on,
Mm.
yeah.
Mm.
But it said, oh, because it cost like 2 billion to send the rocket up and all that stuff. It's like this is rubbish.
Mm.
All I'm hearing is rubbish. There's just excuses and lies, and it's enough's enough. Yeah, you lie about everything. Everything that's America lies about everything. And we're just told it's a conspiracy when we say, but if you do this or this is what we found out, we're conspiracy theorists.
Mhm.
We're the ones who've got something wrong with us when you make stuff up all the time. You
Yeah,
you
that's the
can't.
thing I find irritating as well. Like you said, when they say you're peddling misinformation and they try to say censor you or say you shut down your social media or remove posts or videos, and they say, but you do this all the time.
Yeah, and this is
Yeah,
what was
that's it.
happening during
I
the
say that.
COVID.
But it's like what you said. We don't have our own social media platform, so they can do that anytime. We're just renting space on there
But
in
we but we
cyberspace.
we did have our own social media platform, but they shut us down.
Which one?
Yeah,
What
the
Black Shirt?
Africa Stream.
Africa. Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that. But to be fair, that was more. That was like a YouTube channel, though, isn't it? We didn't actually have our own broadcasting.
Yeah, but that was our own thing, and then they shut it down because they were trying to say, "Oh,
Yeah,
Russian
exactly. That's what I'm
spies and
saying.
all this."
Remember, they was doing the videos on social media, Instagram and YouTube, isn't it? So I said because we don't own those platforms, they can easily cancel us and demonetize us. That's the thing.
Yeah,
I'm saying like like Oprah, where we own our masters, like kind of like where Ray Charles and Prince used to say, own your own masters. So where we at the inception, we own the broadcasting rights. We have our own equipment, our own business that is not a subsidiary of a bigger or corporation. So if we do that, then we'll have more of a say. Especially if we base it in a black-centric country instead of over here where they can do us with regulations and compliance and saying you're not doing these things so we can cancel you, the government can put you down. Yeah, we need to do it for in either the Africa or the Caribbean, where there's majority of black people and the government is run by us for us. So
but then
up until then, we're always gonna struggle. Mm.
we got people that's their mind is about greed. So like, okay, someone said to me, you got the good intentions, right? So the good intentions of something was let's create social services. The reason why we want to create social services because of those children. Those children are suffering, or those women are suffering, and they need support, right? So you have that. It was the reason behind of creating that. There was a
Mm.
genuine reason behind
Yeah, cool.
creating.
So yeah,
Then,
definitely.
then you have people, yeah,
Hmm.
and then people have their own attitudes. Oh, ah, that guy he was wicked to me, blah blah. I hate him. Okay, I'm going to work. And now that workplace, that woman is going through that problem because of that man, different situation. But let me just bring my problem in.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
this is
cool. Agendas, personal bias. Yeah, cool. All the
then
time.
that this is what now causes the next problem.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
when it comes to us, the amount of trauma that we've been through, do you know, right? When a police officer goes through some indication, right, of something, he gets treated, right? He gets help. He
Yeah, see
gets
therapists. Yeah, cool.
everything. When they go to war, they come out of war, They sit down with a therapist, yeah, they
Mm.
get treatment and stuff. We went through 400 years of slavery
No, I got
and
none of
no
that.
therapist, right? And they say, oh, the slavery is over. No, it's changed to the word education. So
Mm.
let's just move it to education. And so we're never going to get healed. Yeah. We are constantly not being healed. We put stuff on television to mess you up. Yeah. So yeah, we make you believe that you're thieves. We make you believe that you don't love yourself. There's people going like you said about the gang or the knife crime.
Mhm.
Right. So if I look in the mirror and I turn around and I say I love myself, why would I go and kill somebody who looks like me?
Mm.
Some
Vengeance, family.
I
Mm.
went out the other night. Someone's tread on my trainers. I looked at him and went, he thought I was getting mad. They're only trainers. And he's like, touch bro, sorry man. Da, 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 da. I was like,
What was it?
yes.
What was it? A bar, nightclub?
No, it was just a day. It was in the daytime because they
Okay.
were, they were playing street New Jack Swing music. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. I'd expect
and
that kind of event though.
yeah,
Mm.
but the man stepped on my trainer and he thought maybe I'm gonna get upset with him. No. I said, they're only trainers.
Mm.
I mean, these are only trainers.
Yeah,
You know
but
what I mean?
was he a similar age to you?
Slightly older than me.
Yeah,
I,
so I wouldn't expect a man of them age there to get upset about that.
But
Mm.
when you like when people used to like think, oh, they're gonna step on my trainer and stuff, they think I'm gonna get upset. I'm like, it's only trainers, man. I came out to dance in them. I'm gonna end up mashing them up anyway.
Mm.
Yeah. So I don't you don't expect me to come and hit you because of you stepping on my trainer. You was dancing. You don't know my trainers are there. Like you got to think outside this like box of I'm not going outside to be having a fight with somebody. I'm coming out to enjoy myself. We can make a laugh and a joke about something. You know what I mean? It's like why does it have to be
It
always a
doesn't have
problem?
to escalate.
Yeah,
Mm.
doesn't have to be a problem. It don't have to be a problem. Someone wants to look at my woman and say, yeah, yeah, what? You're only gonna blow her one kiss. How about two kisses? Blow her two kisses. In fact, buy her a rose. What's wrong with you? You're too cheap. Come on, like, turn it turn it into a joke. Let the man spud you and stuff. Have a joke about it because the next time you're gonna see him on the street, he's gonna be like, yes, brother, and all that stuff because you broke ice. Yeah, it doesn't have to be an argument all the time. And this is what we're doing
That's
with that.
because you're not possessive, and the ego, your ego doesn't operate like that. Some people, even now, they will not have that. They will not have that. They get upset, or at least say, "Listen, be careful. She's my woman." Mm. Mm. But I always think, yeah, obviously you don't trust.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's,
or you're worried. You're worried about her leaving or going off with someone else.
you're blowing her a kiss when I'm there, and you go, I could do things like this. You go, seriously, you blew her a kiss. What about me? What? I don't
Mm.
exist.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah, they'll be shocked if you did like that. They'll be shocked.
you
Yeah,
know
they
what I mean?
probably the shock factor probably disarmed them.
But you
Mm.
turn it into a joke, innit? And
Mm.
then, you're gonna see this person on the road again. They're gonna greet you normally. They're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. This is a guy who cracked joke with, blah, blah, blah. He's cool.
Mm.
Yeah, you've taken away something that that
They
they felt
escalated.
that they thought there was gonna be some kind of angst or something. Because sometimes something's going on with somebody in their mind. And then once you
True.
do something like that, you're taking it away from them and they're
Yeah,
seeing
disarming them. Mm.
yeah, and they're seeing that there's life. There's humor. There's something else that's going on. But if you're always just going to be like in a fight mode, that's it. It's a waste of time.
So
It's a
have you ever thought about teaming up with Idris Elba then? Since you're doing all this great work like that, you see? Yeah, I think he's got a consortium, hasn't he? A coalition.
Oh, I don't know about what he's got. All I knew is that I've just found myself extremely busy. Like from when I wake up in the morning, yeah, I'm already on LinkedIn writing this or sending this information out, trying to get business moving, trying to
Mm.
set up links, trying to get new teachers to sign into FL to then start building their courses and start putting it on there. But there's a lot of issues with trust and
Yeah, cool.
learning. There's like teachers, they've got to learn. They don't realize that they've been doing certain things a certain way for such a
Yeah.
long time.
Time they're used to. Yeah, they find it hard to change.
Yeah, they now need to learn another way to get information. And always, when you're on the FR platform, when you're doing LMS learning, it means that um, you can get paid when you're sleeping because it will mark the work. It will give them gradings, and it will give them like
It's automated, I
analyze the
know what you're
stuff.
saying.
Yeah,
Mm,
it will just do everything. You sleep, you wake up in the morning, there's some money in your account,
mm.
But they're not used to doing all that stuff because the system that they've been in for the last 10 to 15 years, it's just always been the same.
Yeah, it doesn't really deal with innovation. It's just how this is what you do, and
Yeah.
basically your career would be like that. But as you said, because of the advancement of technology and AI and everything, automation now, a lot of
And
people think, oh, at my age, they have to learn again, learn different systems. They might be a bit irritable, a bit long in the tooth. I think, something else I have to learn when I have to do all this training and safeguarding and things like that. People get education weary, you see.
yeah,
Mm,
what
mm,
they don't realize is that a lot of the stuff that they do, they repeat. They got year seven, year eight, year nine, right?
mm,
So year seven comes again next
mm,
year.
mm,
The same thing you said last year, you're going to repeat it
mm,
again. The same thing you said last year, you're going to repeat it again, and so on. It's just going to be the same thing.
mm,
So put it on a
mm,
video record that, put it out there so you don't need to do that. You can
mm.
actually focus on something else.
No, so yeah, of course. It's a
Okay,
good
so
thing to.
you say to your class, okay, this is your homework today. I want you to go on that page, complete all that because you can see it on your end that they've done it. By the end of the week, it should be done. Yeah. And you put a certificate with it. And they go, oh, they would have to walk into their classroom with their certificate because if they don't walk in the classroom, they ain't done their work. And
Mm,
it also tells you how many hours they spent, what days they went on. Did they go on Tuesday, Monday, Wednesday, whatever day they went on? They spent 2 hours. They spent 1 hour. They spent 20 minutes. They just logged on and logged off. Or they logged on and they didn't do anything. Yeah. Because it tells you at the back end. And
mm,
then you can say, all right, well, you didn't do any work. So I can just write to your parents, let them know that this wasn't done. This is what was supposed to be done. You can do it at lunchtime. You can do it at dinner. You can do it after school. Choice is yours. We've got computers here, but it needs to be done.
mm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes,
And
yes.
that's it. You just make it easier for yourself while you focus on other things.
Mm. That's
Yeah.
true. No, I agree with you. That's the way forward. That's the way
Yeah.
forward.
And
Mm.
that's it. But the thing is, it's like you have to work along. I got to make contact. You got to talk to people. You got to see where people are coming from because everybody's got a different mind. Everybody's got different attitudes. Everybody's got, points of views, which are,
But to be fair, as a person, from what I've seen of you so far, is I'm surprised you haven't won them over because obviously you're like Ron, so you do what it says on the tin. So I thought that initial approach when you showed them that they will automatically say, yeah, yeah, I'll do that with you. Yeah,
yeah, they
but
do.
you still find it people distrusting. That's a big thing in our community, the lack of trust because of the things
They
of
do.
the things of the past, like Black Lives Matter when the women bought them
The,
houses in
you know,
America and was taking dipping the money. Before we had the Great London Authority when Lee Jasper gave people money for the community radio stations, pirating in them days, and then some people ran off with the money, didn't open them. Some people,
yeah,
I've had enough of that. So we're gonna put in these compliance KPIs, monitoring, and then obviously amongst our own community says, oh well, you seem too good to be true, so there must be something wrong. You're trying to hustle me. So I realize that's a big thing with us as well, especially
yeah.
when it comes to collective work.
So this is one of the things where, exposure comes into play, right? So when I was younger, I was ripped off by my manager, right? And so when I learned about what was taking place,
Hmm.
I said I wanted to become transparent with everything that I do.
Mm,
Yeah. So then even when I'm running I become transparent. I'll provide you with a contract that
mm,
shows you that your work is your work. If
mm,
I'll take 30%, you take 70%. You've got to take the lion's share because it's your work.
mm,
Yeah. You've got control of it. If you don't want it on the website no more, you give us 1 month's notice to bring it down, make sure that it's all gone, and you go about with your stuff.
mm,
Yeah, it's yours. And that's how I, and then I, but that's in a contract. So they can see that I'm not taking anything. I'm not taking nothing away from them. And
mm.
also I don't stop them from putting it on another platform. So
Yeah.
If you've got it and you want to put it on my platform, fine. If you want to put it on someone else's platform at the same time, go ahead. It's
But
not a
that's your
problem.
character, though. That's your character. A lot of the remember you. I don't come across many people like you like that. So it's I do believe a lot of those things where people are like that. It's got a character and their integrity, their principles. Where some people, as soon as they can have an advantage, those will go out the window if they can get one up or get us a piece of money that they've never seen before. They say, yeah, abandon all that. Mm,
Yeah. I Well, that see, then they never understood money and they don't understand the hardship. If you've never sat down uh, and had baked beans and rice as your dinner, yeah, you don't know what hardship is. And you
mm,
shouldn't be trying to put somebody through something that you've been through.
mm,
Yeah. So if I've been through a place where four children are living underneath one roof, yeah, we're fighting for food, and then I'm going to have to work. I'm not going to put anybody through what I had to go through. Yeah.
mm. That's
So,
because you're empathetic. Everyone sees it like that. People say, well, it's my time to get mines and forget everyone else. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. It's
yeah,
character. That's why it comes down to character. I realize character and people that are principled over feelings. Mm,
yeah. No, well, if that's how people choose to do what they need to do, then that will show how far they will get. Yeah. For me, if I continue my way, then it will show how far I get. If I get further than you, it's because I'm choosing to do something different to what you're doing.
mm,
And that's it. I've had people that I'm still talking to from 1999, from when I
mm,
started off my dance school. So when I had to tell those young children to leave, when I came back and I said, okay, I'm doing a summer project, they were like, Paulie, yeah, I'm here if you need me. Da, da, da. I said, right, okay, the
yeah,
payment
we
is this.
build up good relations with them. All them
Yeah,
years
they're
ago.
like, they'll come back. They come back and they say, yeah, I will do that. Yeah. One of them still calls herself my goddaughter. So it's like, hey, Paulie, I'm there. If you need me, I'm there. It's like, okay, cool. So it's the honesty with everything that you're doing. I helped one person getting through their studying, their level 5. Then they had to do their QTLS during that COVID as well. I had finished mine and I showed them how to get through theirs. They're like, okay, I'm your Senko, for when you need a Senko at FL, I'm your
Mm.
Senko. I'm like, okay, cool. So eh, people
Good
that,
bartering, good bartering. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how community's supposed to work.
yeah,
But
you just,
I know it's like a dying thing. To be fair, from my experience, anyway. Mm,
yeah, but we just have to keep trying. We just do what we can, you know.
mm.
Um,
Okay.
I'll just keep trying to build and keep building, trying to make contacts, and it could be any time now that things will change. You
Mm.
know, like I said, FL is aiming for a majority of like Nigeria and the Caribbeans, even though it's gonna reach out to the Americans and the English and everybody else. But in Nigeria alone, there's 200 million people. Yeah.
Well, massive,
So,
massive population.
you know what I mean? So me, I'm selling courses at like $20. So I only need, 2,000 people to get 20K.
Mm.
I don't need loads and loads and loads and loads of money.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
every year, if I can get those 20,000 people, like 20,000 people on the course, it will do what it needs to do. But I'm not just building one course, I'm building many courses. So, but the thing is, it just needs to be known. So far, um, we've been putting out the courses and making them free to people so that people can hear of the name FL.
Hmm.
Yeah. So we done the
Brand
first.
awareness. Yeah.
Yeah, so we could create, I can afford to do that. I can build the course and say, right, I need you all to take the first aid course. Yeah,
Mm.
so send it out to as many people as possible, and it's
Hmm.
free. So they learn the first aid and know a little bit about basic first aid and CPR. That means if something goes wrong in their home,
Yeah,
they
they
can,
can save a life. Yeah. They're not ignorant. Mm.
yeah.
Now,
And
to be
so
fair, I've
far,
showed my godmother's church about your safeguarding because my godmother was saying wait till she comes back from Jamaica in September. I said,
okay,
no, no, I just got one from someone I just met. Yeah, and they said it's not expensive at all. So I said, yeah, maybe you could get some of your church members to come and do that there instead. Mm.
yeah.
So
So, and thank you, thank you. I appreciate you for that. Thank you. Yeah, there's over 4,000 certificates being sent out to Africa at the moment now.
That's
So
it.
it's
Is it
yeah,
automated? You see, when you pass the course, does it send to you via email or is it posted or you have to post them yourself?
they get the email.
Okay. And it's
They
like a
get
PDF.
yes,
Okay.
and they can download it. They can keep it on their phone and stuff like that. And if they
Mm,
don't use the system for 3 months, it will tell them, and then it will shut them out. So
okay.
we don't keep hold of the details of anybody um, for over 3 months because of
Oh, the
GDPR.
GDPR, yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like in Africa, there's no GDPR. Over here is
Mm,
the GDPR, but I'm saying, hey, let me just work it both ways.
mm,
Yeah,
mm.
so they feel safe with their stuff, and
Yeah,
then
cool, because that builds the trust.
yeah,
Mm,
and then they can come back when they need to come back. They don't have to
mm,
pay to come back on unless you're paying for a course.
it's true.
Yeah,
That's a serious. If you get that right, you'll be laughing.
yeah,
You'll be home free.
and that's
Mm,
it. And so, and the thing is, I don't need a lot. So, say a lot starts coming in, I just go to Africa. I'll build a hub. I'm already working with one school out there. And so in Kenya, and so it's trying to get 40 computers down to them. If we make money like that, we send the computers down to the school and we start building hubs where the parents can come in after the school's finished and they can start using it.
that's serious.
And
Have you been to Kenya?
no, no, I
Okay.
haven't been.
You've been to Ghana though, haven't you?
No.
Okay, okay. That's it. How
The
do you
thing
make
is,
the connections if in them foreign countries without going out there or meeting anyone from there?
I know this. So, okay. So when my mom left Church of God of Prophecy when I was 8, she went to a Nigerian church called Celestial
Okay.
Church of Christ in Islington. So up to the age of 16, I was actually going into that church.
Okay, so
So
yeah, they're
I,
familiar with the
there was
connection.
quite a few people that I had met. And then when I went to Pimlico School, when we left Enfield and I went to move to Brixton, people from that church was actually at the school
Okay,
that
okay, okay,
so,
okay.
so I always had a connection with people from Africa, and there was a lot of times I didn't understand when people would be making jokes and saying, like they'll say, "Oh, you're ABC" and all that stuff, African bum cleaner, and they'll
Yeah.
just make uh, horrible jokes and stuff, and oh,
Yeah.
you're poor. But then but I've been to an African wedding, christening, as a child. They're not poor.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah,
but
that's another misconception. To be fair, people are getting out of that now. It's not so
yeah,
much now.
but this is what we got was as a child. This is all the
Mm.
information that people were feeding people, and then
Mm.
they say, "Oh, go back to your own country," and then you used to take it offensively, yeah. And it's like if you said
To
that
be
to
fair,
me
I used
now,
to tell a lot of them. Anyone that used to tell me that in them days, I said, I'm born here, mate. And so was my
yeah.
parents. So I
But
said, yeah, I'm
now
never
I
having
would
that.
say, "Give me the money and I'll go." Yeah, give me give me the money and I'll go because I put a lot of money into this country. So all the money that you've taken from me, give
Mm.
it to me and I'll
Yeah,
go.
of
Because
course.
yeah,
Remember, they only finished paying the slave reparations in 2015.
I,
Jesus.
I
So when I was
know.
born until I was 34, I was paying reparations without knowing it. And said, and I wasn't even born them times there. So, you see, so the cheek of you to say that. So I'll drop them things into them as well. Mm.
Yeah.
So they're
And
paying for something before my great granddad was born.
see, this is bad. This is the thing. We've been through so much over here, and it's just like, okay, so it's time for a change. But if we start making, like I said, if I'm making money, I'm going to Africa. I'm going to the Caribbeans as well. I'm building hubs. I'm going to be doing like computers everywhere. I know about networking. I know how to build a computer. I know how to do networking. I know I've got people around me in Antigua as well who's actually in top positions for computing.
Okay.
My cousin Dorlan, he was born here in England, so he's got the top position in Antigua as well. So it's like we,
Have you
it's
been?
like
Do you go there often, Antigua?
yeah. So I run the You Can Dance Festival out there. So I take 10% of my wages from UK and I take it to Antigua. And then I create a festival for the youths. So I teach the youth how to put on a stage show, how
Mm.
to do posters, get the information out to people, how to perform, do the performances on the stage, how to run the shopkeeping and all that stuff while they're doing it, and that
That's
and that.
serious. What time? What part of the year is that in? Is that what March, February?
So we was having it in April, but what
Okay.
happened was they had a refurbishment on the last April and the year before. So for 2 years they've messed us up. But what
Okay.
happened was the Ministry of Dance, they turned around and said that they've now purchased a building. So whenever we need to do our big shows, we could actually do it there. But they haven't
Okay.
got that finished as yet. But we was
Okay.
told that we could have it later on this year, but later on this year is not enough time for me to plan. I've got to
Okay.
so
Be
I
careful, because Dr. Umar was saying that, and all now I can't see E school. Dr. Umar Johnson. Have you
Yeah,
been
I
seeing about
always
that?
take three. What is it? It's always like between 6 and 3 months of planning for the next event. Yeah. So they've already got my deposit at this building for the You Can Dance Festival.
Mm.
So once they say yes, it's fine, you can go in. Yeah. Then they've already got my money. I just book my flight, go down there. I spend a month with the schools. I got all the other choreographers on the island who go to their schools and then they get them prepared for the show. And that's
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just be careful with all that though. I
Yeah.
don't
But we've
want to
been,
know because you see what happened with Johnson. He's saying his account's been frozen now, and even though the actual school's been built, I don't see him teaching any students yet, and he's been talking about this school since I was like what 26, 27. That's like
wow.
17, 18 years ago. So he's getting mocked now. So yeah, that's our next thing. See things like that, people think, checks. Is it really true that they're having these problems and they're just taking my money under false pretense? Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I'm always
Yeah. No,
advertising.
like I said, I'm a doer. So it's like, I don't take people's money. It's my own.
Mm,
So I work in a school for somebody else's school, and I'll take 10% of my own annual wage, and
mm,
that goes into the festival. I'm not taking anything from anybody. Like when I went to the High Commissioner offices for Antigua and Barbuda, they were like, "Yes, this is Pauly, and this is the person who owns the the purse strings." And I said, "I don't need the purse strings." And the woman was
mm,
like, "Pauly, don't say that." I say, "No, no, no, I don't need the purse strings. What I do need,
mm,
I need to be able to access the schools. I need to be able to use the flag and the crest. That's all I need." She went, "You sure?" I said, "That's all." And from there, that was it. They gave me the permission to go into the schools. They gave me the permission to use the flag and the crest. I don't need nothing else.
yes.
Yeah. The reason why I don't ask for nothing else, you ask for money, that becomes a problem.
Mm,
Yeah. Then what happened on the last event? I got a call while I was on the radio station, no, the TV show. And as I came off, I got a call come through, and it was one of the ministers who was telling me that they want to contribute. And I said, "Not money." They said, "Oh, what do you need?" I said, "Well, I can do a day two. A day two can be, I can get the choreographers to teach the people who are coming. Yeah.
uh-huh.
So they can teach children because it's still a holiday day." And they said, "Okay, we're going to give you the Dean William Lake Center. Well, not the Dean William, the multi-purpose center, the West Wing." I said, "Thank you very much. That's what I need." So
Mm.
that was it. Boom. Shows happened on that day, multi-purpose the next day. Off we go.
Yeah, see, that's the way forward. That's the way forward.
But
When we do the part two, you'll have to go into more detail on that. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on today, and obviously I'll definitely be in touch with you. Actually, I'm gonna contact you in a minute after
no
the
worries.
recording stuff. But that's all tonight, folks. Where there's people, there is power. Justice in our time.